I mean, if you're going to call your ship HMS Terror, perhaps expect some spooky shit to go down whilst on board.
You must wonder what we're doing here in your part of the world.
Season 1 of The Terror was created by David Kajganich, Mark Borenstein and Alexander Woo, and was produced by Scott Free Productions, based on a novel of the same name from Dan Simmons. And it stars Jared Harris, Tobias Menzies, Ciaran Hinds and Adam Nagaitis. The Terror was originally released in 2018 and has recently been added to the BBC iPlayer. The Royal Navy's polar explorer ships HMS Erebus and HMS Terror head into the Arctic to find and confirm the existence of the fabled Northwest Passage. The ships are soon frozen and trapped in the ice, and those aboard must survive the harsh weather conditions and each other whilst being stalked by an elusive menace. Ooh. Welcome back to Game Over Movie Reviews. My name's Peter and this is my TV review of The Terror. I'd been excited to see this one since it was announced 3 or 4 years ago. Ridley Scott producing, one of my favourite actors at the moment with Jared Harris. Plus that synopsis of semi-historical true story with a horror drama bolted on. Sign me up. And I'm happy to report that The Terror Season 1 stands alongside True Detective Season 1, The Night Of and Chernobyl as one of my favourite limited TV series of all time. So let's take a look at why it's so damn good. Firstly, the entire cast is flawless. This is a big cast as the story is based upon the full crew of 2 large ships, but the story mostly focuses around 7 main characters, some of which are based on the actual real-life crew. We have Jared Harris as Captain Francis Crozier, Commanding Officer of the HMS Terror. Ciaran Hinds as Captain Sir John Franklin, Commanding Officer of the HMS Erebus. Tobias Menzies as Commander James Fitzjames, Executive Officer of the HMS Erebus. Paul Reddy as Assistant Surgeon Harry Goodsir. Look at those mutton chops. Adam Nagaitis as Corker's mate Cornelius Hickey. Ian Hart as Sailing Master Thomas Blanky. And Niamh Nielsen as Lady Silence, a Netsilik Inuit woman. Each of these characters feels fully fleshed out. They each grow and change through the course of the series, and the script does such a great job of setting up ever-shifting relationships and constant conflict between them all. Jared Harris, Tobias Menzies and Adam Nagaitis are the 3 standouts for me. Harris and Menzies have both gone on record saying that their work in this series is amongst their best and something they're both very proud of, and rightly so. The range of acting on display here, especially from Jared Harris, well, it's a masterclass. Adam Nagaitis as Mr. Hickey is one of the most interesting characters I've seen in a TV series for quite a long time. He very slowly morphs from one thing to another and is a master of getting other characters on his side via almost subliminal brainwashing. You never quite know what he's up to or what his eventual goals are, and that kind of makes him all the more interesting and eventually terrifying. Each of these main characters' arc ends in a satisfying and meaningful way. I especially liked Assistant Surgeon Harry Goodsir's arc. A meek and kind man who lives up to his surname, but even a Goodsir has his limits. The overall story is very strong and constantly engaging. This expedition really did happen with both ships and their crews inexplicably disappearing. This adds some gravitas to the story, knowing that some of the horrors portrayed here are probably what the crew went through in 1845. Dan Simmons, who wrote the novel the series is based on, very cleverly added his own take on what else might have happened. But not really. It's all made up. A tale of the darkness and desperation of what men will do when pushed to their absolute limits. And my God, they really get pushed here. They face horrendous weather conditions, malnutrition, depression, disease, and to top it all off, a supernatural predator intent on tearing them all apart. You can kind of see where the story is going to end up, but the many turns it takes makes it constantly surprising and not ever predictable. The Terror also doesn't skimp when it comes to gore. There are quite a few moments of extremely visceral and realistic body horror. Bones are broken, body parts are sawn off, there's decapitation, immolation, and lots of icky medical procedures which will make you squirm and wince. The ship's sets are incredibly impressive. Shot on a soundstage in Budapest, a full ship replica was made to mimic both the Erebus and Terror, recreated from original drawings of the real ships. It's suitably claustrophobic and inhospitable, and you can see the daily tribulations this crew must have gone through. A lovely piece of trivia on this series is that the cast were not just vetted on their acting talents, but their demeanour as people. The production sought kind-hearted men to help the cast through what would be a long, difficult and often cramped shoot. This really shows on screen with some of the warmth and camaraderie that these men have, especially during some of the emotional moments. Season 2 of The Terror looks to be a brand new, unrelated story, but told in a similar way, a historical story with a horror element. Unfortunately, it's not available in the UK yet, but I'm hoping it doesn't take as long to get here as Season 1 did. Have you seen either season of The Terror yet? Did you enjoy this first season? And if you've seen the second, is it worth a watch as well? And what would be your favourite limited TV series of all time? Let me know in the comments below. If you'd like to become a shipmate aboard this vessel, please hit that subscribe button. And if you like this video, please like this video. To the not so good stuff of The Terror. Though the ship sets are terrific and some of the CGI of the snowy landscapes are perfectly fine, some of the external snowy scenes look very clearly to have been recorded on a soundstage. You really do have to suspend your disbelief at certain points and keep telling yourself that's a jagged ice wall and not a bit of moulded plastic with some styrofoam. I'm exaggerating, it's not quite that bad, but it's not quite in keeping with the quality of the rest of the series. The CGI itself is okay, nothing to write home about, but the show does a really good job of drip feeding the moments which require more effect shots and also try to shroud them when they are used. Most of the gore is practical and the okay CGI is used sparingly and effectively, just doesn't quite stand up to much scrutiny. Finally, as is expected, The Terror Season 1 is a total sausage fest. In summary, The Terror Season 1 is an incredibly effective, original story melding a real-life mystery with a bolted-on horror drama. The cast are exceptional, with special mentions going to Jared Harris, Tobias Menzies and Adam Nagaitis, but credit has to go to everyone here for what must have been an arduous shoot at times. And there's plenty here for fans of realistic and often wince-inducing gore. I absolutely love this one and I very strongly recommend checking it out. My score for The Terror Season 1 is 9 out of 10. Thanks for watching.
Game over, man. It's game over.